Hi there, my name is Gabor. I'm a professional developer working full-time in the industry for a while now. In this video, let me show you a couple of ways how you can configure your Cron inside your Docker containers. In this example, I'm going to show you two ways. One is when we use the cron tab that is described outside of the Docker container, and then we bring it in so the container can run it for us. The second version is when we configure the cron.t directly inside the container, so we're skipping the whole creating a cron tab, bring it in. We're just gonna directly create the file inside with an echo and then run it from there. I also put together this small project to show you how it looks like, and for your convenience is gonna be a link inside the description when you can go and check out the repo yourself. We're only gonna cover a couple of scenarios here, but hopefully it's gonna give you a good starting point on your journey.
The README will give you a quick overview, and it's essentially two small projects. One is configuration for the cron tab itself, and the other one is the configuration when we use the cron D directly inside the container. First, let's see how we can work with cron tab. We have a .m file with a single secret, a cron log file for the logs, our cron tab file outside of the container, where we're gonna describe the cron job we want to run. Next, let's take a look at the Docker file. When we're gonna essentially pick an image, which is an Ubuntu image in this case, we're gonna do some basic installation and then bring in the cron tab itself and then attach it to cron D. After that, we're gonna bring in the script files, and at the entry point when the image is built, we're gonna run the script, the entry script, to bring in the environment variables and run the cron in the foreground. We copy the environment variables into the container and then run cron. And next we will have a simple find me script file, and the purpose of that is just creating some logs and to make sure the file sees its environment variables when it runs inside the cron. I added a Docker compose file. This way make it a little bit more visual what's happening. Essentially we're creating a bridge network and then specifying what Docker file we're gonna run. We give it a name. We pass the environment variable we wanna use and then specify a value where we're gonna store our logs. Next, let's go to the right directory and then build our Docker files with no cache. After the build is finished, we're gonna spin up the containers with Docker Compose. And we have no logs at the moment, but based on our current setting, we should generate a log every minute. And here it is, our first successful log. There's a couple of important notes once we stop the containers. Is all the scripts needs to run in the bin bash. We just need to be consistent about the environment everything runs into. And another thing, when we use cron D, the Debian version of cron, you need to specify the user, and this has to be, in my case, I use the root user, but without the user being specified, cron D will just not run. Well, now next, let's have a look at the other scenario when we're not gonna use cron tab. We're just gonna use cron t right inside the container, when we're just gonna create our own cron files by echoing them back into the container. So first, let's just go the right direction and then creating the other Docker files with no cache. Once it's done, let's just spin it up with the Docker Compose up. And here is the main difference between the two setup. Here, we're gonna echo back the file itself into the container and attach it to cron inside directly. And this way, not having an external cron tab file, because we just manage everything inside the container. And if you just wonder what is that 2 greater than 1 part after the log command, it's essentially we telling to the system to log also the errors into the same file as we log the logs itself into the same file. And our second Docker Compose file has different names inside to avoid conflicts. The entry point script is exactly the same as the other. So as the find me script as well. And looks like in the meantime we generated a couple of logs, as it ticks every minute. So I'm gonna stop the containers. Let's a little bit recap how the environment variables being managed. As our Docker Compose file essentially see the .env file in the same directory, and then we pass the environment variables to the container. And then the container gonna essentially run the entry point script. And the entry point script is gonna be write it into the etc environmental directory, so cron can see the environment variable when it runs. The find me script is exactly the same as the other one. All this code, of course, available in a public repo on GitHub, so you can have a look yourself, can download it and fiddle with the code, figure it out what it does.
That's all, guys, for now. Let me know it was informative, and please leave some comments and let me know if the presentation was any useful. Shall I change the shape or form in any way? And then that's it for guys, and see you next time.